Alright, what's good nation, and welcome to the Magi Aladdin versus Judar and Hakryuu versus Alibaba discussion. Basically, this will be taking off from chapter 253 to basically chapter 261 to the beginning of the battle to the conclusion of the battle as well. So basically, I'll be discussing it because obviously I said I want to do chapter reviews, any more individual chapter reviews, but that does not mean that I can't do discussions now. I'm breaking my own rules, kind of, finding a way to basically do these Magi videos because I really do read Magi still. Even though I don't do episodic or chapter-sodic type reviews, I still do follow the series or anything I'm watching because I would love to know what's going to happen next. So basically in chapter 253, we basically got, freaking Alibaba and, Aladdin decided to go to Hakryuu, basically try to convince him to basically not fight Cohen and go to this and all the peaceful beginnings as well. And after that, Hakryuu was going along with them, trying to, talk about old times, how they had grew, how it all changed, how they're very similar as well as how, friends would normally conversate, but then it changed eventually. Hakryuu wants to know, why are you here, whatever, what's your reason for actually being here? And he eventually told them, I want you to come to our side and stop this ceaseless, basically ceasefire, whatever, don't do anything, just we can think about this, we can do a different way. But, Hakryuu obviously wants to follow his agenda. He's not agreeing with anybody anymore. He's definitely showing signs of, before the kid who basically wanted to take down, the co-empire before, and the child or the man who wants to take out co-empire before. You could see his state of evolution as well, how his character developed throughout the past, maybe 100 or maybe, maybe basically 100, maybe 150 chapters from when he went to Vic and Sinbad to ask for his help, to basically having his own two jinns, basically Bilal and Zygon, how he's able to basically perfect both of the jinns as well. And you can see them both performing in battle with their new skills and assets. Obviously, Alibaba basically mastered the transformation, the jinn transformation of obviously Amon, and Hakryuu master was basically, he was 2 steps ahead of him in terms of jinn transformation. He knew how to basically use 2 jinns at the same time. He was able to use freaking Bilal's mind magic combination with obviously his Zygons, basically vines and everything else. And I found that really intricate, really interesting how he's able to basically, in the past maybe week or so, he was basically, in that camp, he managed to learn a lot about his jinns as well, research his jinn by actually performing unethical experiments, you call it. So, basically Hakryuu's showing us basically, how you need to do unethical things in order to basically advance society. And obviously, we humans have done a lot of unethical shit to basically advance society, but that is for the advancement of our humanity and just everything else in general. So that's, a lot of some things. Obviously there are some things that he did that obviously were some bad shit, crazy things that we all would never do if we could. But some of us would definitely, if we had that power and the basically mindset and mentality of Hakryuu, we were able to use his mindset. I was thinking, what happened if I was in his shoes? So obviously, if I had basically my past happened to basically my family died, basically, freaking this witch, basically this black mage, this witch basically became my freaking so-called mother, whatever, and everyone just died around me, and I basically got a scar on my face, and I'm trying to take out the entire empire as well. I would definitely not do things the ethical way as well. So obviously the battles were going on, they were all fighting as well. We got to see some of the dialogues as well, the monologues of I'm gonna beat you, everything else, just this typical shonen type dialogues. Obviously, I'm gonna beat you, blah blah, you're not gonna beat me, whatever. We gotta see more of Hakryuu's character as well. That I do this for my own free will. I don't do this because obviously I'm under derivative or I fell down, because this is my choice. I don't want to live in a world where basically I'm basically technically dead as well. That's what he's saying. He wanted to obviously rule the world. He wanted to basically change the world. It kind of reminded me of like a Yagami from Death Note, where he wanted to change the world his own way, obviously take over the co-empire that eventually take all over the world. Basically that's most likely going to be his plan, because even Judar said previously that you're never going to be satisfied with what you have. You're always going to want even more and more and more. You're obviously greedy as well, since obviously you're a black king vessel. You're always going to be wanting more as well. We just show the whole greed aspect of having so much power. You're gonna have greed as well, and I just find that highly just interesting. I do apologize if I do glance over. Sometimes I'm trying to make sure I'm recording as well, because I use different programs to record this, so I'm trying to make sure everything is still maintained. But overall, just the entirety of the battles is just really interesting to see how the characters basically clashed, how both Hakryuu and Alibaba's personality just clashed. And Alibaba at first was trying to basically get freaking Hakryuu back from derivative. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. Basically, you're trying to get him back up from this black hole he fell down in. But then as you know, basically the battles progressed, and actually this battle was from 253 to 261, which was basically 8 chapters. So basically 4 to 5 chapters, and he just gave up that he wanted to stop him for good, because he knew he was basically going to go to Baalbad and basically brainwash all the people as well. We got to see some of the experiments he's performed as well. Basically he would use Zygon's plans to basically brainwash all the people to doing his things. Alibaba tried to retreat, and everything else, everyone, basically all the guards were just after him because they had vines in their brain and just plants in their head as well, which would basically make him not be able to escape as well, not be able to make those guards ever come back. They're technically they're basically dead anyway as well. And just seeing all of even the most interesting thing, the most fucked up thing as well, was just the conclusion of the battle as well. Just seeing how basically both sides had a big loss. Freaking Hakryuu lost his black Magi, basically, freaking the Magi lost his king vessel, or basically Alibaba basically lost his friend. I must pardon them. I'm just going to take a sip, because if I do talk a lot, I just like to take a little drink as well. So basically, he lost his Magi and he lost his actual king vessel, which was just really an impactful loss. Entire series, the Magi series could be maybe have a little impact change, but at the same time, what is Aladdin gonna do? I'm really concerned for Aladdin, because Hakryuu obviously has this original plan. He's obviously going to try to take the Ko Empire. He's going to take Koan down, not the entire Ko Empire at first. He basically probably hired this assassin, maybe because the assassin lady at the end of chapter 261 came, and I want to know, what is she going to do? Why is she here? Does she know? Does she want everything to go down the way it is? Who is this lady? Is she related to the Fanalese clan? The Fanaris, or the I think it's called Fanaris clan. Is he related to something that we've already known about the whole Magi universe as well? What's gonna happen as well? And we also got to see freaking Aladdin, basically how he stopped Judar was he basically used Danfor's Arasso, basically King Solomon's magic as well. He basically learned to use King Solomon magic a year ago back in Manitust Academy, and as he was trying to discover Solomon's magic, he knew that he couldn't use it at first because he did not master it. It kind of reminded me of Fullmetal Alchemist, Brotherhood of Fullmetal Alchemist series, whenever Edward would basically try to go into the world and basically try to learn everything else, and obviously Aladdin had this access of information capable to basically go and learn all these different types of magic from the sacred palace. Obviously go and obtain magic and rook from back in the Turan era, and just use it against his opponents, but he doesn't know how to successfully use the magic as well. So I really want to see what is going to happen. Is he going to learn to master magic as well? He said he will lose his insanity, his humanity, if he doesn't. Towards chapter 260 and 61, read 261, we gotta see him basically lose his humanity as well. His eyes are basically dead and everything else, and so was Alibaba's eyes, and basically his entire spirit basically left away. Freaking Hakryuu's freaking extreme magic for Bilal, whatever, he had this scythe, and he cut him, obviously, and his entire spirit just went to this whole other world as well. So Bilal's capabilities, basically, he's able to basically numb the senses of, death, not death, but numb the senses of taste, sight, whatever. To basically disable them for a long period of time, but he managed to even take that one step further, which is why he's 2 steps ahead. He do this advantage of basically he's taking the person out of the entire universe, be gone for all of eternity as well. So basically both of the characters are permanently gone from the series. What is going to happen to Magi? How is the series Magi Labyrinth and magic going to change? Is it going to change drastically, not too drastically? Be sure to let me know in the comments below if you made this far as well. So I'm going to start the discussion here. I'm probably going to have to edit this video a shit ton because I've been doing a lot of pauses. I must apologize for that. If I missed anything very, very important, be sure to put in the comments below, because that's the place we can do it. Like the video if you guys enjoyed this whole discussion videos. I hope to do more discussion for the Magi arcs and Magi moments I really enjoy. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Guys, later. Farewell.